So guys, someone has asked me on Instagram to break down how Plant beats Canelo Alvarez, or how I think he should go about beating Canelo Alvarez. Hey, man, break it down. What do you think he needs to do to give himself? He's obviously he was saying he doesn't think Caleb's gonna win. Oh yeah, before we get into it, smash the like button on this video. Let's try get this video to 150 likes. I'd really appreciate if you guys can get this video to 150 likes. Thank you for all your support. But let's get into the video. How does Caleb Plant beat Canelo Alvarez Saturday night? What do I think he needs to do? And what I think he may need to do may not be enough. What Caleb needs to do, he needs to use his reach. He needs to use his height. He needs to use his fast feet. And he needs to box on the outside. He can't afford to engage with Canelo. And listen, there may come times where he has to engage with Canelo, right? He may have to, get down and get in the trenches. But I would have, if like, I'm not a trainer, right? But from watching Caleb Plant's fights, I think he needs to avoid that. I think that's a must not get close to him, not let Canelo get close up to him, fight on the inside, because Canelo's going to start whipping in those body shots, right? And even against Billy Joe was fighting at a distance. Canelo was whipping those body shots in from a distance. So Caleb Plant is much bigger than Billy Joe. He's a lot taller. He's going to have a longer reach, right? So Caleb Plant has got to keep him on the end of the jab. Now, I'm not saying that this is going to work because, like I said, Canelo's going to have his game plan and Canelo's going to come in to negate what Plant's doing, right? But what Caleb's got to do is you've got to use his feet, keep on the outside. He's basically got to make Canelo miss a lot. He's got to use his footwork and he's got to use his speed. He's got to use his hand speed that he's got. He is quick. And I don't think, and Christian said that, Caleb Plant's got really fast hands. Yeah, he has got fast hands, but so has Canelo. Now, Caleb might be a little bit quicker. He may be a little bit quicker, but the hand speed difference isn't what you think. Canelo Alvarez, when he gets close to you, is a very, very fast-handed. He's got very fast hands. Believe you me, he hasn't got slow hands. And he's got power behind those hands. Caleb Plant hasn't got the power. And what I would advise is just don't engage with Canelo. Just look to box on the outside, win. Like when Amir Khan fought Canelo Alvarez, Freddie Roach said a beautiful thing. He goes, they asked Freddie Roach, how would you tell your guy to win this fight? He basically goes, just box every round. Box every round. Just box your ass off. Just box, 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 box. Box on the outside. Don't engage with this guy. If you get the knockout, it's a bonus. Just don't engage with him because this guy's really, really strong. And Caleb's got to go into the ring with that kind of mentality. He's just got to look to box. And remember, Caleb's big. So Caleb is a naturally big guy. He's a big dude. He's not a small guy. He's 6'1", 6'2". He's got a height. He's got reach. He has got a fast feet and he has got a fast hand. So that's all in his favor. He's got to use that. But he can't afford to get, he's got to have unbelievable conditioning. So obviously that's something that he has to be working in training camp. The other thing is sometimes, yeah, you may be very fit, but on fight night, when you're walking out, that drains a lot of energy, a lot of nervous energy. Because when you're nervous, that drains a lot of energy. You get tired. So even though you put in the work, sometimes, when on the fight night, on the night, it's like on the test day, you've done all the revision, right, prior to a test. You've done all the revision. You've done so much revision through, working through your books. But there's nothing like test day. There's nothing like going to a test and on that day, you're under pressure because this is it. The 6 months that you've been preparing for that test, this is judgment day. This is the day where it's all on the line. That paper is going to determine whether you pass or not. So sometimes, even though, I remember once when I was studying, and I know fighting is completely different, but it's kind of the same logic in the sense that I had done all the revision. I had done everything. But on that day, I broke down. I broke down in the sense that when I was in the exam, my mind wasn't thinking straight. There was a question that came a bit different, and I wasn't thinking straight. I was nervous. I just became nervous and I panicked. That can happen to a fighter on fight night as well. That can happen to a fighter. You're like a rabbit in the headlights. You could do all the preparation, because this is what I've been saying, and a lot of people aren't bringing this up. You may have a great style, as Christian said. Oh, Caleb may have the perfect style, this, that, and the other. You don't know how Caleb is going to handle a big fight night. You don't know. And you can say, oh, no, yeah, he's going to do it. No. You don't know until he's done it. You don't know until he's done it. Until he's done it, you can't give him the credit for that. You can't say he's going to do it because he hasn't done it. Caleb Plant is going to be in the biggest fight, right, of his life. Canelo's not in the biggest fight of his life. This is just another day in the office for Canelo. It's not another day in the office for Caleb Plant, because this is his biggest fight. He's never experienced media like this before. He's never experienced anything like this before. He's never going to have experienced anything like when he walks into that stadium. He's never experienced anything like it. So there's no one, in my opinion, that would not be affected. There's very few that wouldn't be affected. Yeah, they may show that they're not affected, but believe you me, everyone gets nervous. Everyone, when the crowd's booing against you, there's very few that can shut that out. It can affect people. And Caleb Plant hasn't proven that he can be in a hostile atmosphere like that, and he can perform. And he hasn't even showed us whether he can perform under those bright lights, when the lights are very bright, in that kind of magnitude of fight. Because this is an Utsakatsi fight. This is 20, 30 times bigger than that. And his payday that he's getting reflects that. So can Caleb handle that? Maybe. Because even if Caleb puts in a good performance and loses, right, he's proven that he can handle that atmosphere. He's proven that he can fight against the elite. And the bright lights and the cameras and all the media doesn't affect him. Doesn't affect his performance. The crowd against him doesn't affect. But he's got to prove that. These are things that people don't bring into consideration. That's a big thing. That's a big thing when you're on the big stage. It's not easy. And Caleb Plant's going to be on the big stage. A lot of people say, yeah, I was born for this. I was meant to be here. A lot of people say that. But again, you've got to back it up. And that's the hard thing inside the ring. When you've got someone like Canelo, it's very, very hard. You have to back it up. You have to back it up. You have to back it up. And it's not easy, man. It's not easy. So let's see. Let's see whether Caleb can pull off this shock. But in my opinion, that's what Caleb's got to do. He's got to box on the outside. He's got to box on the outside. Not engage with Canelo that much. And listen, the other thing is if he does that and he's very negative, is he going to get the rounds? I don't know. He's going to have to make it look like he's totally outclassing him. He's going to have to land a lot of shots, and then he's going to have to make Canelo miss. But I just think it's too difficult. I think it's too difficult against this version of Canelo Alvarez to do that. I don't think it's as easy as what Christian makes it out, where you can just use your hand speed and foot speed and just box and make it look that easy. If it was that easy, then a lot of fighters would have done it. It's not as easy as what people think. And remember, those fights that people like to bring up was almost a decade ago. Let's not forget that. Those fights that we talk about, Mayweather and Lara, those fights were a very, very long time ago. Canelo ain't the same. Canelo isn't the same fighter. So to bring up those fights that happened almost a decade ago and use that as a template on how to beat Canelo would be silly on Plant's behalf, because he's not the same fighter. He's a lot heavier. He's a lot stronger. You know, he's quick. Canelo's quick as well, because a lot of these guys, Canelo's coming up weight, so he's naturally going to be faster. Now, Caleb Plant has got fast feet, fast hands, but the problem is with Caleb Plant's style, and this is the difference between Caleb Plant and Canelo. Caleb Plant has a very energy-consuming style. Canelo did have stamina issues, but you've got to look at the fights that he got tired in. The fights that Canelo gets tired is in when someone pressures him, when someone puts him under pressure, when someone had punching power, and that he has to respect their power. So Golovkin, Canelo was under pressure because Canelo wasn't just under physical pressure and the fact that Golovkin hit so hard. He was under a lot of mental pressure because Golovkin was always there. If you look in both Golovkin fights, Canelo got tired. He wasn't as fresh towards the latter half. But if you look at the Billy Joe Saunders fight, the Callum Smith fight, he could have done another 20 rounds because he wasn't under any pressure. He wasn't fatigued. He wasn't under any pressure. It was so easy for him. So if Caleb Plant isn't able to get Canelo to respect his power, I feel it's going to be the same thing. Because if Caleb Plant isn't going to be physically strong enough to push Canelo back, to put Canelo under pressure, and that's not even, I think, a good idea, then I think it's going to be very difficult. This is why I say that I think Caleb has a style that can cause Canelo issues for a few rounds. I don't think he has the style to beat him. The style to beat Canelo Alvarez is Beterbiev. A guy that's big, strong, someone like that. That's able to put Canelo under pressure, that's able to put Canelo under physical and mental pressure. Unfortunately, Plant's not going to be able to do that because he doesn't hit hard enough. I don't believe so. But if he shocks people, maybe. But let's see. But that's how I would go about it. That's what I think Caleb has to do. But let's see what he does. Let's see how he does it. Let's see what the game plan is Saturday night. Leave your thoughts, guys. Let me know what you think. And guys, remember to please like, share, subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.